R.I.P. Joe Rogan is more of an inside joke. Go on one of his live streams or any UFC event where he is commentating and you will see the comment R.I.P. Joe Rogan repeated thousands of times. So while Joe Rogan the man still lives as far as I know, at least at the time of making this video he is, Joe Rogan the concept is presumed dead. Or perhaps just on life support. So who or what is Joe Rogan the concept? Joe Rogan the concept is this guy.
You're gonna burn me with your cigarette? You're not burning anybody. That's dopey talk. That's dopey dum-dum talk. You're not burning people. What are you, fucking tough? You're gonna burn people? You're an out-of-shape older woman. You're not burning anybody.
You're out-of-shape younger woman.
I'm in very good shape.
I bet you are. Just keep working on it.
Don't touch me.
Once upon a time, Joe Rogan the man was accosted by a woman who made a reputation for herself by causing men to back down and crumble under her verbal assaults, all under the guise of comedy. Now, we know that for the most part, comedians tend to have creative license to express their ideas, controversial as they may be. Whether the joke succeeds or bombs, we believe that their intention is to be funny. But what of when the joke is used to implement an ulterior motive? Something more sinister. What of when the humor is dispensed with the intention of diminishing you, robbing you of your confidence, lowering your stock, gathering minions that will replicate and recite the doctrine of destruction, authored in deceptive speech to facilitate and expediting the extinction of all things man.
You talk about women, I talk about men. In a serious way. It's great. I'm laughing, but usually they're crying, so I like it that way.
Like it when you're laughing and they're crying?
Yeah, well,
go deep into that.
We could, but psychotherapy.
I've heard a lot about you.
You have?
I've heard from Trey.
All fucking true.
Trey was shaking when you...
Let me show you something. Now, what you're about to hear may offend you. It may offend the more sensitive viewer. But I ask that you listen to these next few clips with an objective mind and an unbiased ear, which will lead into the crux of this next subject matter.
Listen. I charge the white man with being the greatest liar on earth. I charge the white man with being the greatest drunkard on earth.
Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now.
Now today we're going to be answering a very important question, and that is, why are all women so stupid? Now,
in my experience, the worst people to deal with are the athletes. None of them use condoms, really. So if y'all really want to try to come up off a check off a man, you could just fuck an athlete. They're really dumb.
What did each of those clips have in common? I'll tell you. Each one was an example of indicting everyone. White men, black men, women, athletes. All who are indicted by definitive statements, rendered guilty by virtue of existing within a category where someone who looks like you or came from where you come from has done something wrong in the past or present, making you guilty by association. Association by sharing a characteristic, in this case, and in this subject matter, masculinity and manhood.
And then you have men who are being hit over the stick and being told, man, bad, masculinity, bad, who need to be told, no, stand up, tuck your shirt in, right? Be a leader, be what a man is supposed to be.
Those who have not lifted a finger in cooperation to these charges are initially confused and often make attempts to rectify the allegations by pleading their case. A case that need not be pleaded, for if you have $5 in your pocket and someone says that you don't, you'd be a fool to take it out and show them in any attempt to prove them wrong. It doesn't change the value of the $5 bill, and even if you did show it, they'll just say it's fake. But what of an accusation or indictment levied against you, especially by someone who has the power to drastically affect the course of your life, taking away your livelihood, making you guilty by association, guilty by familiarity? An example of this is the 1991 movie Boys in the Hood, where a mother despises her son because he is a spitting image of his father who did her wrong. Or what of a mother who believes that we exist in a tyrannical patriarchy, or that men need to be knocked down a peg or two, yet she has sons of her own, and she does her due diligence to discourage the traits in him that convey what she identifies as a potential threat to her vision of leveling the playing field.
Clownish impersonations of women with no brains but lots of beauty.
Well, the ones that are smart are
Look
never
in my eyes
funny.
when you're talking.
I know, exactly. I always do that.
I don't think so, Joe.
Oh yes, I do. Stop the dumb intimidation stuff. I was thinking of a lot of things. I think I looked down. Don't go attacking me. I see where you're going with this. I see exactly where you're going with this. I don't think so, Joe. Don't start that shit with me.
And so now we're overreacting. So the rubber band has been, is going back too much the other way. And it's just unbelievable. My dad, I'm glad he's not alive to see this, because the more snowflakes we have, the less the possibility of the Earth making it.
Okay, would you want the Earth to make it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's an agenda. I saw it when I was at UCLA 50 plus years ago. They started saying that they were going to destroy manhood. And you had nothing at that point until you started getting the anti-war thing developing in the late mid-60s. And they came up with this stupid idea that war is a man thing, so the way to stop war is to change the way boys are raised to men, and if you raise them like girls, so they wanted dolls and frilly stuff and were soft and emotional, that would keep boys from becoming warlike when they got to be men. So when you put that ballast into the mix, they started taking over.
This is dopey talk. It might work on other people who are impressed by you. No, not insecurity. I don't think you're cool. I was nothing but cool to you until you started trying to tell me what to do. Why? Because you're insecure and you're used to people paying attention to you. Immediately you come over to me, you have to tell me about your act and what you do and you do and you do. How about just talking as a human being? You ever try that? Just talking. Stop telling people what to do. Yeah, I'm screaming at you because you need to hear this shit. Because you're always dominant over people, aren't you?
Baby.
Yeah, you are. That's why you felt insecure around me. You tried to get me to do what you wanted me to do. Look me in the eyes, Joe. Don't look down on the ground. Don't talk to those girls. I know people like you, and you're fucking pathetic. Saving. Dumb. It's all dumb. I'm not like you. You might have tricked them. You're not going to trick me.
You learn feminism in school, right? You learn feminism. I had to actively learn it.
And for clarification, how do you define feminism?
I can tell you how they define it and what it actually is, right?
Go
So
ahead.
feminism in school, when you learn it, is you're just fighting against the patriarchy, and you're supposed to see the patriarchy everywhere. When you are learning about feminism, they're not actually teaching you anything other than how to hate men and to see the patriarchy and men putting you down everywhere, right? So when you have that form of psychological conditioning taking place in the school system, you're producing women that see the patriarchy everywhere. It becomes like a paranoia, right? Oh my God, if asked me to make a sandwich, I'm not gonna make a sandwich, and then that's it, I'm trapped. And they're actually not realizing that there actually was an incentive behind you even being taught that. You've never actually lived the life of making a husband a sandwich, and they think that's going to send you back, and suddenly you're going to lose your voting rights, and you're not going to be able to go get work. There was a time when there was a need for feminism, first wave feminism, right? But first wave feminists would want nothing to do with third wave feminists, which is where we're at today, right? Women that think that actually first wave feminists, you could argue, envied men.
using the sword instead of the scalpel, targeting everyone in the vicinity of a variable shared by the enemy you seek to destroy. He was left-handed. Left-handed people must die. He was ruthless. Ruthlessness in boys must be squelched and extinguished early on. He was misogynistic. Deprive competent men of positions of power so as to prevent the chances of a woman becoming a victim to a system rooted in gender disparity. He was a man. Kill all men.
Talk to you all about a serious injustice in this world, and that is the sexism that comes from men and is forced onto women. Women are raped and murdered, and for this, we need to kill all men. I am sick of being a baby factory that produces more men that will just, in the future, subjugate me. So the only answer to that is to kill male babies and just kill any man that you see, like in the streets, like any swing chick, just kill him.
Someone might say that feminism killed the Joe Rogan, but that would be inaccurate. Saying this would fall us right into the category of swinging the sword instead of using the scalpel. No, feminism is just believing in equality for all women, as in equal opportunity. So the problem isn't equality. The problem is the Trojan horse that showed up wearing a feminism t-shirt. A Trojan horse with talking points that many under the banner of feminism individually claim to not be in support of.
Kill male babies and...
but publicly keep silent and dare not unite under one voice and challenge those agents of chaos and confusion within their ranks, so as not to give the impression of a lack of solidarity.
The perfect segue into the last chapter in this series, The Vengeance of Eve.